Any given Thursday, Harrison Graham, Chase Sr. college football buzz continues to circulate, and that is certainly true for ex-Oklahoma quarterback Spencer Rattler as he has entered the transfer portal. Chase, we have cooked up 10 teams that Rattler could transfer to, and I think there's some pretty interesting ones. But first, let's kind of get some background here on why his tenure came to an end in Norman. Leaving Oklahoma after 3 seasons, he, of course, was benched in favor of freshman quarterback Caleb Williams, who ended up playing very well, obviously. What's crazy is despite being in college for 3 years, he still has 3 years of eligibility remaining because he redshirted 1 year and he got a COVID year 1 year as well, so still 3 years left. I don't think he'll use all 3 of those. That means if he does, he probably hasn't played well because he has NFL aspirations. But he is going to play at least 1 more year of college football unless he changes his mind and goes pro at the last second here, Chase.
It's funny. Sometimes I wish there was like a webcam in the corner of our Chat Sports studios and in our offices because we were trying to figure out 10 destinations for Spencer Rattler for like 30 minutes because there are so many elite programs where Spencer Rattler could go to and really flourish. Now, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that he elects to canvass the landscape across the college football nation and elects to go pro. I just think he has to improve his stock just a little bit. I'm a little bit concerned about his confidence. I think he needs to be repaired in that regard. I'm also concerned a little bit about the lack of leadership qualities. There were a lot of reports coming out of Norman that guys just didn't really get along with him well. He wasn't a guy who people like to rally around. I'm also concerned about the fact that Lincoln Riley has been producing and developing elite quarterback talent for a really long time now. Kyler Murray wins a Heisman Trophy. Baker Mayfield. Jalen Hurts was selected in the 2nd round when nobody saw that coming after he got benched at Alabama in favor of Tua Tagovailoa. Spencer Rattler goes there, and he doesn't do well inside that offense. A lot of questions remain for Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, and it's certainly going to be curious to see where he ends up. He certainly has the talent. We've seen him play well. It's not like he hasn't played well.
Won a lot of
college.
games, too, Harrison.
He's won a lot.
Yep.
He's been inconsistent, and I don't know what happened this year in Norman, but I think if you get him with a program ready to win, a good offensive line, and some weapons, there's no reason why he can't hit the reset button and get back on that trajectory to being a pro style, draftable quarterback, because there's no reason why he can't reach that potential because we've seen it before. Where will Spencer Rattler play in 2022? After this YouTube ad break, so get your votes in, we will break down the top 10 programs that could land Spencer Rattler. So get your votes in on where you think he'll play, and then after this ad break, we will break down our top 10 teams. At number 10, and let me be clear, producer Jeremy called me a homer. I don't think this is going to happen. I don't think it really makes sense. But ESPN actually mentioned this as a possibility because new TCU head coach Sonny Dykes has done really well in the transfer portal at SMU. Now he's at TCU. He's pulled some OU kids in the past. Tanner Mordecai, who was Spencer Rattler's backup quarterback, who played really well at SMU this year. I don't think it's going to happen, but you have a head coach and a coaching staff that's very aggressive in the transfer portal. So weird things have happened, but I don't think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Sonny Dykes has really lived in the transfer portal, and that was a big avenue for how he was able to bring SMU back. If I'm TCU, I'm not going after Spencer Rattler. I was actually really impressed with what Chandler Morris did against Baylor back a couple weeks ago.
Former Oklahoma quarterback.
He was slicing him up, a former Oklahoma quarterback who is from the Highland Park area of Dallas, Texas. So I really like him, and I'd move forward with him as the starter and not Spencer Rattler to kind of break things up.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Number 9, the Houston Cougars. They've got Clayton Tune. We'll see what his future is, but I think Rattler would be an upgrade. And Houston, look, they're 11-1 this year. Dana Holgorsen is an offensive guru, their head coach. If you go the group of 5 route, before Houston obviously gets into the Big 12 in a couple of years, you could do worse than plugging and playing in a high-octane style offense.
And Dana Holgorsen, like Sonny Dykes, very aggressive coach, and I really like what Dana Holgorsen's been able to do over time with developing college offenses as well as college quarterbacks.
Did great with Will Greer.
Did really well with Will Greer. So Spencer Rattler going there, I think he'd be able to maybe step his game up a little bit. The pressure would be taken off of him going into a lower-tier conference group of 6 school at Houston, and maybe that's something that he needs.
At number 8, how about Iowa? Look,
I'm so intrigued by this.
I would put Iowa higher, but does Rattler want to go play, in the Midwest?
Yeah.
And B, Iowa, for whatever reason, just doesn't they either don't like quarterbacks or they just can't get quarterbacks. But I honestly think, and I'm dead serious when I say this, if Spencer Rattler played at Iowa this year, they might have gone undefeated in the regular season. They went 10-2, and they're bottom 10 in the country in every offensive category because their quarterbacks stink. Spencer Petras is awful. They tried another kid. He was worse. And they still went 10-2 because they're an elite defensive team every single year. Get this damn program a quarterback. You put Spencer Rattler there, they should win the Big Ten West next year. Honestly.
Iowa every year has a great defense with pro talent. They're
Pretty good
great
running game
on the offensive and defensive lines. They always have really good running backs. They've been churning out tight ends who have been very good pro prospects for a long time. They are always, and I mean always, every single year missing a quarterback, whether it's C.J. Beathard, who was actually okay at Iowa,
but by far
doesn't
the best
have
they've
the
had.
physical skill set of a Spencer Rattler. And this year, it's Spencer Petras. Spencer Rattler is a guy who could really move the needle for Iowa. You just got to get out of that boomer mindset.
Petras out, Rattler in. Yeah. That's what I'm saying for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Makes the Big Ten
bring some excitement to Iowa. They're the most boring 10-win program I've ever seen.
The fake IDs of college football, some people say.
Yeah, the real ones know. Subscribe to the channel. We're not boring. We're not stale like Iowa football. We bring the heat every single day. What are you waiting for? We're pumping out content every single day. The content daddies, people might say as well, sitting right here. Hit that big red button. College football news, rumors. If you love the NFL, we have NFL coverage and some NBA as well. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv. This is another interesting one. Penn State. Now, Sean Clifford has another year of eligibility with the COVID thing last year. He gets a free year. Do they want to go with Clifford for another year? Is it better if he just transfers and goes somewhere else? We'll see what happens there, but I think Rattler would probably be an upgrade. What do you think? You've covered Penn State in the past.
Look, Sean Clifford, and I have covered Penn State football. I used to work in northeastern Pennsylvania. I was kind of close to that program for a little while. Got to scout guys like Pat Freiermuth and Micah Parsons, two of my favorite prospects in this last NFL draft class. I don't think that Spencer Rattler is a good fit at Penn State. I think that he would really feel the pressure from that fan base that's been desperate for a premier quarterback for a long time. Now, I will say this about Sean Clifford. He's really regressed over the last couple of years. Really, 3 years ago, he was pretty solid. Last year, not good. This year, just isn't consistent enough. And I think defenses just kind of realize that he's a one-read quarterback and really struggles in that regard. They did have one of their premier recruits, Christian Velo, out of Canada, play very well in place of Sean Clifford back a couple weeks ago against Rutgers. If I'm Penn State, I'm moving forward with his development. I'm letting Sean Clifford go. I'm saying, hey, thanks for your service. We don't want you back. And I'm also not going with Spencer Rattler.
So Penn State at number 7. I can't get over the Iowa thing. I just get a quarterback.
Yeah, please.
Please.
Yeah.
How about number 6, Miami? I think they would have been a little higher on our list, but the De'Aaron King thing flopped so bad.
It did.
That, does that rub you the wrong way if you're Spencer Rattler? Plus, is Manny Diaz still going to be the coach? There's no real direction there. Brett Lashley, their offensive coordinator, he bolted for SMU. He's their new head coach. So who's running the offense there? I think in general they would be high on my list, but there's so much coaching uncertainty, Chase. I don't know if you're Spencer Rattler, if you can afford to wait and see how that plays out. I think from a personality fit, Miami makes a lot of sense, but I'm not doing that if I'm Rattler. That's too big of a risk.
Too much uncertainty, and shout out to Spencer Rattler and De'Aaron King for cashing in and getting the bag with the with the name, image, and likeness, because both of those guys were ahead of the curve, and both of those guys this year kind of flatlined a little bit. But yeah, too much uncertainty for me going to Miami because I just don't know who's going to be the head coach and how long that head coach is going to be there.
Before we get to our top 5 Spencer Rattler transfer destinations, we have college football hoodies. Check it for 50% off. Oklahoma fans, there you go. You can get that one for just $24.99. All of these are marked down 50%. It's an extended Cyber Monday sale. Chatsports.com/CFB hoodie. That is the link to go to take advantage of all these hoodies. Plus, we got some pullovers. These quarter zips are a good look as well. Those are available for a bunch of teams. Chatsports.com/CFB hoodie. jackets, pullovers, quarter zips. They're all available at that link. Click below, chatsports.com/CFB hoodie. Top 5. How about Notre Dame? They just hired Marcus Freeman, so made a convicted decision. And offensive coordinator Tommy Rees is staying on as well, Chase. And he's a bright young mind, only 29 years old, played quarterback at Notre Dame. I think he could connect with a kid like Spencer Rattler. Rees was a kid who had a lot of adversity in his college career, fought through it. I think that could help Rattler as well. And look, Notre Dame's they just win, man. But they need a quarterback. Jack Cohen gonna be gone after this year, so I think that could be an interesting fit for Spencer Rattler.
No, I like it too, and I loved how Tommy Rees addressed the team. He was basically like, "I'm effing staying," and the team seemed to be really pumped up about that. I like what they did offensively this year, and I thought they took a step forward this year as compared to the last couple of years where they were really just a predictable one-dimensional offense to a certain degree. Spencer Rattler needs his confidence repaired, as we've been talking about. I think Tommy Rees could be one of those guys to kind of just bring him in, massage him a little bit, and boost his confidence and groom him.
Yeah, no doubt. At number 4, how about Cincinnati? Desmond Ridder, he's gone. He's going to go pro after this year. And the Bearcats, assuming Luke Fickell stays, and I think it's trending in that direction at this point, Chase, look, why not go chase another playoff spot next year if you're Cincinnati? Bring Spencer Rattler in here, and let's go, man. There's no reason why Cincinnati can't do what they did this year next year. They still have a lot of talent on that roster. Luke Fickell is a mastermind in terms of winning games and developing talent. Get Rattler into a program that can win and win right away, especially at the group of 5 level, group of 6 level, because Cincinnati won't be in the Big 12 for a couple of years. Rattler, you want to get confidence back, play for a program that's going up against a little bit lesser talent. When you have really good talent at Cincinnati, he should be able to flourish in that situation.
Can't say enough about what Luke Fickell has done there. I mean, think about this. We're talking about Cincinnati basically going undefeated the last 2 years in the college football playoff right now in the American Athletic Conference. And I actually think they're legit. So many people forget that they went toe-for-toe with Georgia last year in a bowl game, Harrison. That's crazy.
The same Georgia that is now on the
clear
favorite to win the national championship.
Exactly right. So Cincy for Rattler, I'd love it.
LSU at number 3. You got Brian Kelly now, so you've made that decision. We'll see who the coordinators end up being. Tommy Rees didn't come, but listen, LSU, quarterback uncertainty. Miles Brennan's in the transfer portal. Max Johnson's okay. He's been hit and miss. I think Rattler could go in there and play right away, get some SEC experience. Now, the potential risk here is it might be a transition year for LSU in 2022. Do you want to go in there and go up against the best players in the country in the SEC if you're Spencer Rattler, a kid who may have lost some confidence, like you said? Could be a risky move.
That's why, if I'm Spencer Rattler, I'm looking at some of these lesser programs. And by saying lesser programs, it's not a shot at the other ones, but LSU is a different breed, man.
They want to win.
You walk in there
big.
as the starting quarterback, and there is so much pressure on you. And Spencer Rattler didn't fare well when he had that pressure on him in Norman. And LSU Baton Rouge, a totally different game than Norman, Oklahoma.
And dude, what happened this year could happen again.
Exactly.
If he doesn't play well, they'll put someone else in there because that fan base won't stand for it. Will Cincinnati make the playoff? We wanted to mention this with the Bearcats. Y for yes, N for no. I think they win and they're in, and hey, they could do it next year maybe if they get Spencer Rattler. At number 2, Ole Miss. I love this fit. Lane Kiffin connects with quarterbacks so well, especially nowadays. I think he's a great head coach in the modern NIL era. What he did with Matt Corral, super impressive. He's had kind of a fringe Heisman type of season, and Corral's probably less talented in terms of pure talent than Spencer Rattler. I think this fit could work out really well.
I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I think that Lane Kiffin is a top 5 coach in college football. He's repaired his image. His offense can go up against a variety of different defenses because he'll spread you out. He's not scared to go I formation around the goal line and become a physical football team either. And Harrison, I think you make a good point in saying that Lane Kiffin has done tremendous work with developing quarterbacks, with grooming quarterbacks, and I think that he'd be able to revive Spencer Rattler on the field as a QB, his confidence as well. And I'm also here for the slander of Lane Kiffin basically just going to Twitter after Spencer Rattler throws during the season, let's say 30 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, and he Lincoln Riley.
Oh.
He's like, you see what I did with your boy
Yeah.
that you couldn't do? Let's ride.
Hey, I don't know if he's a top 5 coach, top 5 offensive mind, though, that I could get behind, and that's what Spencer Rattler needs. At number 1, look, you just lost Joe Moorhead, the offensive coordinator, to Akron.
That's going to be a big loss, by the way.
And that's significant. Oregon's got to figure out who the OC is moving forward here. But I will say, Anthony Brown, he's gone. Oregon is still, until Lincoln Riley gets his guys in there, they're still the team to beat in the Pac-12, at least in the short term. You get Spencer Rattler in there, and hell, he get to go back up against Lincoln Riley potentially next year. A little revenge game action. Who says no?
And the Pac-12 style, I think, would suit Spencer Rattler pretty well. A lot of run and gun, a lot of fast-paced offenses, low pressure because fans don't show out to a lot of those games in the Pac-12. I'm sorry, if you're a Pac-12 fan, those are just the facts. And by going to Oregon, you know that you're going to have some studs at the wide receiver position.
A lot of speed.
They always do a good job running the football. They have elite speed. Mario Cristobal, one of the best recruiters in the country, and that defense has been developing pro talent as well. So Oregon Ducks, that's a big reason and reasons why they're number 1 on our list.
One more time, where will Spencer Rattler play in 2022? We just broke down our top 10. Maybe you got a team in mind that could make some sense. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments.